Okay, so the thing we are discussing that when we require the very high speed required to process large volume of data, then we use the multiprocessor system. Now, example is what, like weather forecasting or the satellite launching. In that case, the large for executing that for large volume of data is present in there. So this data has to be processed. Then those process is divided into multiple sub process, and we give this to the multiple CPUs for processing it. And multiprocessor system is based on symmetric multiprocessing model. It is this multiprocessor system, it is based on the symmetric multiprocessing model in which each processor runs an identical copy of the operating system, and these copies will communicate with each other. Now what happens, this multiprocessor system will look like this, that you see the CPUs are present. This is the CPU, and each CPU has its own cache. Each CPU has its own cache attached to it. Each CPUs are present, and there is what the cache is attached. It has own cache memory, and it is what they are connected with a shared bus. This is what this here we have used 3 CPUs, but more than 3 CPUs can be present. So all of these CPUs are what? All of these CPUs has the cache attached to it. That means local cache they are attached to it, and each CPU runs an identical copy of operating system. That means this will run an operating system, this will run an operating system, this will run an operating system. So both of these CPUs has the identical copy of an operating system, and these copies communicate with each other. Now all of these CPUs are what? They are attached to a shared bus. This is the bus. In this shared bus, all CPUs are connected. And with this shared bus, the main memory is also present. Now this main memory is single, and this main memory is shared by these 3 CPUs. This CPUs, number of CPUs present, will share this main memory, because only a single main memory present. So all of these CPUs will do what? It will share this main memory. And also the input output device present, this input output device is also shared by these CPUs, because we have already said in multiprocessor system that the number of CPUs will be increased, but the other resources, that is the main memory, input output device, bus, this will be what? This will be only single present, and all of the CPUs or all of the processor will share that. This is the multiprocessor system look alike. We say this is the symmetric multiprocessing model. Now a symmetric processing model, or we say that there is a waste functions, and like this there will be a present like master CPU, slave CPU, and the waste functions are performed, the operating system functions are performed by the master CPU only. No slave couldn't access that OS. Now there is a problem is what? Let's say CPU, this CPU wants to access the main memory now in that particular time. Then at that particular moment, other CPUs has to wait. Why? Because this is shared, na? So that means there is only a single bus present. So if any CPU is accessing in this particular moment, then other CPUs have to wait. When it completes its task, after that, the other CPU will be capable of using the main memory. So that means when a CPU will access the main memory in this, then other CPUs has to wait to access it. Okay. So What are the characteristics of the multiprocessor system? The characteristics of the multiprocessor system, that is what said, it consists of two or more similar processors, that means more than CPUs present, and they execute same copy of operating system. That is what we mentioned, that each CPU has same operating system present in its, and processors share the same memory and input output facility. That means what we have said, that this processor will access this main memory and input output device. All the processor will access that because this is shared. The memory is single and input output is also single. So that means this input output and memory is shared between this all CPU present there. And processor are connected by a bus. Processor are connected by a bus or other internal connection scheme, such that the memory access time is same for each processor. Now each processor will use the shared bus to access the main memory. That means processing speed, we say that memory access time. That means if this CPU access the memory, when it will be access the memory, this amount of time is required. The other CPU is what, it is all it is same like that the previous CPU, that it will access the shared bus, then it will, through accessing the shared bus, it will access the main memory. So same process for all the CPU, they are performing same process, that all the CPUs are performing same process to access the memory. So that means the memory access time, will be same for each processor, because the same thing they are performing. So that means if the CPU 1 requires 1 nanosecond to access the memory, then CPU 2 will also, CPU 2 has also 1 nanosecond required to access the memory. Or CPU n number of CPU, this will also require 1 nanosecond, because all the CPU will follow the same process. They will use the shared bus, and through this shared bus they will access the main memory. This is the process for all the CPUs. So that means what? That means the amount of time will be required for accessing the memory will be same for all the CPUs. That is what the characteristics of the multiprocessor. And that is said that all processors share access to the input output device, and all the CPUs perform the same function, same type of function they perform, all the processors that are present. And the system is controlled by the OS. This total system will be controlled by the operating system, and it provides the interaction between the processors and interaction at job, task, file, and data elements level. So that's why this is the characteristics of the multiprocessor system. Now, the advantage of using the multiprocessor system. So what is the advantage of using the multiprocessor system? So we already seen that increase the throughput. Now that means what? Increase the throughput. Let's say if there is a single CPU present, so this single CPU will do what? Only one process can be executed. Let's say a process is there, and that means this process will be executed by the CPU. So that means one process completed per unit time. That is the throughput. But if we have multiprocessor system, so that means let's say 100 process we have, and we have 100 processor present, or the 100 CPU present. So that means in 1 unit of time we can complete 100 process, but in the, if we use a single CPU systems, then one process will be completed per unit time. But if we use the multiprocessor system, then we see that if we have 100 process and we have 100 processor present in our system, that in this meantime we say that 100 process can be executed in 1 unit of time at parallelly. So that is what the throughput or output has, the number of process execution has increased. So this is the advantage of using the multiprocessor system. And another advantage is what? Increase the reliability. Now what it means, increase the reliability? Now let's say this, there is a single processor present. This single processor, we can execute one process at a time. We are assuming that. So that means, let's say this CPU has faulty, or the CPU became problematic, or CPU get destroyed for some problem. So that means we cannot execute the process now. But if we have multi-processor system, then if one CPU is became faulty or one CPU became destroyed, then the other CPUs are present. So let's say there is 100 instructions present, or 100 process present, and we have 100 CPUs present. Now let's say among them one CPU is faulty, it becomes fault. So only what? One instruction cannot be executed, but other instruction or process will be executed, because among them one only have problem, other are right, other has no fault. So that means in this case what will happen? One process will not execute. That is, in that meantime it will be 99 process will be completed per unit time instead of 100. But if we use a single CPU, in that case, what will happen? No process will, we cannot able to execute any process, because this is the main CPU we have and it became faulty. So that means no process will capable of capable of executing in that meantime. But here, what will happen? There is problem of one CPUs. So that means, let's say one instruction will not execute, but other instruction, in that case, 99 instructions of the process will execute. Only one will not execute. So this is the increase. So that is why this is also in this level multiprocessor system helps. That is the increased reliability. Increased reliability says that the failure of one processor will not hold the whole system. But if in the single processor, if one this became faulty, then whole system will do what? Whole system will be faulty, because no system, no instructions will be executed in that meantime. But here, what will be one failure? If one failure happen, then it will not hold the whole system execute, whole system's instructions execution. Only it will be what? Only it will be the failure of one processor will affect other processor, though it will what? It will slow down the machine. So the machine will be slowed and only one instructions will be not executed. So this, if we use the our multiprocessor system, then increase the reliability in like this. And economic scale is what? Because of the resource sharing, because the resource are what? They are sharing the resource. So because there is only a main memory present, only a single bus present, and only a single input output device present, only the number of CPUs is increased for our large volume of data, processing for large volume of data in a small amount of time. So that is what the resources are shared here in multiprocessor system. Then it is what? It is cheaper. So we can say it is cheaper to, instead of multiple single processor system, instead of using multiple single processor system, this is what the resource sharing in the multiprocessor system is cheaper, instead of using multiple single processor system. So these are the advantage of using the our multiprocessor system. Okay, clear? What is the advantage of the using the multiprocessor system? Anyone has any question? Anyone has any
Clear,
question
sir.
till now?
Yes, sir. Clear, sir.
Okay. So it is very easy. That why we use the multiprocessor system now. If you want to, if you remember the diagram, if you remember the diagram, then you will capable of saying all the thing. If you remember this diagram, you will capable of using, you will able to write the characteristics. You will very simple, you will type the characteristics from seeing this diagram only. And why this is the advantage, this is also very much, it will be remembered that why for this processing we are using the multiprocessor, then that's why the execution speed increase. This is the thing. So this is all about our multiprocessor system. Now among this multiprocessor system, this is the structure of the multiprocessor system. Now multiprocessor system, we know there is a interconnection structures. Now a multiprocessor is basically consist of set of components that in each system there is what the components are that is present inside each and every system, that is CPU, memory, input output, processor, etc. This will be present in each and every system. And this is what this multiprocessor system has also the same thing present, the set of components present inside of this multiprocessor system, that is the CPU, memory, input output processor, etc. That and this all these components which is present inside the system will communicate with each other. They will communicate with each other. And we have already said that why it is mentioned as tightly coupled system, because we have more than one CPUs present in the multiprocessor, and they are what? They are belongs to one system only. So that means we saying they are in the close communication. All of these CPUs are in close communication. So that's why we say that it is the multiprocessor system as the tightly coupled system. Now here in this diagram you see that multiprocessor system. So in this diagram we have used two CPUs because more than one CPU should be present in the multiprocessor system. So here as an example we have taken that the multiprocessor system present. So that is why it is here the CPUs are present. So more than one CPU here. There is, you see, more than one CPU. This is a CPU. This is a CPU. More than one CPUs are present because multiprocessor system. And we have an input output processor. That is what input output processor and memory, it will be single. So this is the input output processor, the memory, and all of them are interconnected. You see, all of them are interconnected to each other. Now, why these are interconnected? Because if this is not interconnected, then we cannot able to share the data. Then we cannot able to share the data. So that's why all of these are interconnected. That means this CPU is connected with this CPU. Then input output processor is connected with this CPU. Then memory is what? This memory is connected with this CPU. Because if these are not connected, and why these are connected with how? These are connected with bus, the bus structure, these are connected. And why these are connected? So if these are not connected, then we cannot share the data. So this is what these are interconnected. This, all of these resources, you see, all of these resources interconnected to each other to share the data. And the collection of paths, these are, we can say, these are the paths. So the collection of paths connecting the various module, the collection of paths connecting this various module is called the interconnection structure. This we call as the interconnection structure. Now the physical form for establishing an interconnection network in multiprocessor system are 5 types. These are the 5 types of multiprocessor system. We say these are 5 types of multiprocessor system we have present. First one is the bus oriented system, or we can say that time shared common bus. We can say that is the time shared common bus. The second type is what? The second type is multi-port memory. The second type is the multi-port memory. Now this is what? This is the 5 types of interconnection network in this multiprocessor. So this is the 5 types of microprocessor system. One is the bus oriented system or time shared common bus. Second one is the multi-port memory. Third one is the cross-bar connection system. And fourth one is the multi-stage switching network. And the fifth one is what? The hypercube system. These are the 5 types. So one by one, we will discuss about that. These systems we will discuss about. So the first type is bus oriented system. Now, the definition suggests bus oriented system, that means it is related over the bus. Now, in this what? In this, the shared bus is used to connect various processors and memory unit. Now, the name is saying that bus oriented system means it is oriented over bus, only oriented over bus. So that means there is what in multiprocessor system we say that only a shared bus will be present, single bus. That means the bus will be shared. This bus will be shared to connect various memory modules and processor. And a large number of processors can communicate with each other as well with global shared memory over the shared bus. So that means its structure will be look like this, that there is CPU present and in each CPU a cache is connected. You see, each CPU has its own cache memory and they are connected locally. This CPU, it has also its own cache and it is connected locally. This CPU has its own cache and it's connected locally. And they are sharing this shared bus. And it is with this shared bus, a main memory is connected. A main memory is connected. And this is the shared memory. That means this memory will be shared between all these CPUs and they can access this memory. So all the CPU will access this memory. Now, in shared bus organization, contention or we say problem, basically we say it is a problem occurs at shared memory and shared bus. In this case, the problem occurs. So, in order to reduce the problem or the contention, the cache memory is associated with each processor. That's why we have associated cache with the CPU. Now, why this cache is used? Why we will use this cache? There is the reason that we are using this cache with each of the CPU with cache. Each CPU has its own cache. Because let's say CPU wants to access something. Let's say CPU wants to access something in the main memory. From main memory, it wants to access. Like the data one that it requires a data one time from the memory. In that meantime, another CPU also wants to access the main memory in that particular time. Then what will happen? We cannot accommodate two CPUs to access the main memory simultaneously. It will not happen. So other have to wait. Or we can do what? When if the data is required, we will do what? We will process this data. The data will be accessed and it will be stored in the cache. It will be stored in the cache. The data which is required now, we will store it into the cache. Then if let's say if there is no cache present, we are assuming in the example that in this meantime there is no cache present. Now CPU 1, this is let's say CPU 1. CPU 1 wants to access the main memory and no one is accessing in this meantime. And let's say our data is required, 10 is required in the meantime. Let's say our data, we are saying that 10 is required in this meantime. So CPU will access that, and using this 10, the data, it will work over it, that its own operation, what it have to be performed, it will do that thing. So after that accessing, it is what? After that accessing, it is doing that. And let's say after this, there is a no access is there. So the second CPU will access in the meantime the main memory. But let's say when CPU2 is accessing the main memory, the 10 data which the CPU1 has done, which the CPU1 access, that data is required again. Then where it will find that data? Because for its own execution, this 10 data will be required again. But it is not capable of accessing this data at this particular moment because CPU2 is already accessing in the main memory. Then that means what we have to do? Wait. To overcome this problem, we associated the cache. That means in that meantime, CPU will do what? It will access like 10 data from main memory and store in its own cache. On cache memory, it will store the 10 data. Now, if like this situation happen, then it will do the local operation because 10 which data is required, it is already stored in its own cache. So that means it do not have to access the main memory in this meantime because the data which is required here, it is stored in its own cache now. So CPU will do what? It will access that particular data from its own cache. No need to go again to the main memory for that. That's why we have used the cache. So if CPU access the data one time from main memory, then the data will reside into its own cache. So the data can be accessed directly from the cache without using the bus, or we do not have to go again to the main memory to access that data because at first time it done what? The CPU1 access the data and store it in its own cache. So whenever many number of times this 10 data is required, CPU will do what? It has stored it in its own cache. It has not required, it will be not required to always go to the main memory and access that data because it is already stored in its own cache now. So the headache has reduced. The headache is reduced here. So that's why we have associated cache. Each CPU has its own cache. That's why this is used. But if we do not use the cache, then this problem will happen. This problem will happen because again, when this particular data will be required, then we have to check that in this meantime, any CPU is accessing the bus or any CPU is doing the performing the operation in the main memory or not. We have to check that. And after checking if it is doing, then we have to wait. But if it is not doing, then it's okay. But if it is doing, then we have to wait. Then when it will be complete, in that moment we will access that. But if we store it in our cache, then that means we do not have to use the bus or main memory again for that data because it is already stored locally in its own cache. So when it will be required, it will access locally. The data it will access locally from its own cache. So this is what, that's why we use the cache memory. Okay. So in time shared common bus, there is the only single bus and only one processor can transmit data on a bus at that time. Other processor will have to wait, will have to do local tasks or wait for the bus. So that is why this we have done. So because the speed of the transmission, here the speed of the transmission is limited to the single path. So the transmission speed is only limited in this single path because we are using shared bus. Now overcome this limitation of this time shared bus, hierarchical bus structure is used. To overcome this limitation, we use the hierarchical bus structure. So it consists of hierarchy and buses connecting various systems or the components in a computer. The various buses we used, local bus, system bus, explanation bus, and it will be structured like that it will be the main memory, and there is a system bus. This system bus will be connected with cache memory, and this cache memory will be connected with the local bus, and in this local bus, this will be connected with CPUs, and here this will be the bus, local bus, and this local bus will connect it to the CPUs, and the explanation bus interface. Through this explanation bus, the modem, serial input output device will be connected. So explanation bus is basically connect optional input output device. That means which is not required every time, optional input output device. But the system bus, always remember, explanation bus is not, it is like that, it connects only optional input output devices. That means sometimes it can require, sometimes it may be required. That is the optional thing, input output device. But the system bus connects main components of a system. That means system bus can connect main memory, then cache memory. All of this will be connected by the system bus. But there is also a problem for the limitation. That is what limitation is, what that system bus can be accessed by one processor at a time. We see that there is a shared bus, so one processor at a time, one processor can access that bus at that particular moment. So this is the problem. That means only one processor can access the main memory, because shared bus, so one processor is accessing the bus in that meantime, so other will have to wait. So that means only one processor will able to access the main memory through the shared bus, other have to wait. So this is the limitation here. After using the hierarchical bus structure also, this problem happens. So that's why to overcome that problem, to overcome this problem, we use the our next type, that is multi-port memory connection. This multi-port memory structure we have used for to overcome this problem. To overcome this problem, we will use the multi-port memory. And in this multi-port memory, today this is not much time left, so I will not be able to discuss the multi-port memory, but I am giving the overview of this multi-port memory. That means what we have done there, we have divided this memory. There is a main memory present. We divided this main memory into the memory module. We have divided this memory into the memory module, and the number of CPUs present, and here each CPU will capable of accessing each memory module. Each CPU will capable of accessing each memory module. We have made the interconnection structure like that, and we are using some control logic. This control logic will do what? This will control that in which time the particular memory module will be accessed by which processor. This will be controlled by our interconnection logic, and it will be connected with wires. Okay, so this is the thing. This is all about our multi-port memory. So I am giving you the overview. In next class, we will see about briefly about that. Okay, so the 4 connection structures we will see in the next class tomorrow. तो क्लियर है अभी तक सबका?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
टॉपिक ऐसे बहुत टफ नहीं है. मेन चीज है तुम अगर उसका डायग्राम बनाओ तो डायग्राम बना के तुम उसका डेफिनेशन दे सकते हो. मल्टी प्रोसेसर सिस्टम का कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स तुम डायग्राम देख के लिख पाओगे. ये जो बस ओरिएंटेड सिस्टम है इसका एडवांटेज डिसएडवांटेज हम तुमको डायग्राम सिर्फ तुम देख पाओगे तो तुम उसका फर्क पाओगे. ऐसे कुछ नहीं है कि तुम उसको ऑलवेज क्या है उसको रखना होगा, ऐसे कुछ थिंग नहीं है. सिर्फ उसको समझो, उसको डायग्राम देखो, डायग्राम देख के तुम उसके बारे में डिस्कस करके लिख पाओगे. तो ऑलवेज ये सब जो चीज है, ये जो मल्टी प्रोसेसर सिस्टम है, मल्टी प्रोसेसर का जो इंटरकनेक्शन स्ट्रक्चर से। ये जो स्ट्रक्चर्स जो है इसका सिर्फ डायग्राम याद रखना। डायग्राम अगर याद रखोगे तो तुम डायग्राम करके फिर उसको डिस्क्राइब कर पाओगे, आराम से उसको डिस्क्राइब कर पाओगे। ठीक है, ओके। तो किसी का अगर कोई क्वेश्चंस नहीं है तो हम स्टॉप करेंगे सेशन।
हेलो सर।
हाँ 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 बोलो।
सर वो बोल रहे थे
हाँ
कि
बोलो
सर
आदित्य।
जो हम लोग का इंटरनल का नोटिस आया है, ये सर ऑनलाइन है कि ऑफलाइन होगा?
हाँ हाँ ऑनलाइन ही
सर
होगा,
ये
तुम लोग का ऑफलाइन नहीं होगा, ऑनलाइन ही होगा।
ऑनलाइन होगा ना सर?
ऑनलाइन ही होगा।
ओके सर।
अब ऑनलाइन का कौन सा मतलब कौन सा प्लेटफॉर्म में ऑनलाइन होगा ये वाला अभी तक डिसाइड नहीं हुआ है। वो ऑनलाइन में ही होगा, मगर कौन सा प्लेटफॉर्म में होगा वो डिसाइड अभी तक नहीं हुआ है।
मतलब सर कि वो मतलब LMS में MCQ का टाइप होगा या फिर हम लोग को लिख करके अपलोड करना होगा, वैसा ना?
लिख करके अपलोड नहीं करना है, मगर वही एमसीक्यू टाइप का ही होगा। मतलब तुम लोगों का वो जो 10x1 और 5x2 ये डिविजन होगा। 10x1 मतलब 1 नंबर का 10 क्वेश्चन रहेगा और 2 नंबर का 5 क्वेश्चन रहेगा, जैसे प्रीवियसली इंटरनल होता था सेम ही रहेगा। मगर एलएमएस में होगा या गूगल क्लासरूम में होगा ये वाला अभी तक डिसीजंस नहीं हुआ है। तो देखते हैं कौन सा जगह में होता है ये वाला,
ओके
वो
सर।
डिसाइड होने के बाद इन्फॉर्म कर दिया जाएगा।
ओके सर। और सर बोल रहे थे कि सर ये COA का सर नोट्स तो सर नहीं मिल पा रहा है, सर थोड़ा
हाँ
डिफिकल्टी हो रहा है।
नोट्स का हम इस ये ग्रुप में हम गूगल क्लासरूम में टाइम नहीं मिला है, हम इसलिए बना नहीं पाए हैं। तो ये इसमें दे देंगे तो चलेगा, तुम लोगों का ग्रुप में अगर ये दे देंगे, ये जो इस ग्रुप में तुम लोगों का
सर जो
ये
व्हाट्सएप
व्हाट्सएप
ग्रुप है,
ग्रुप में। हाँ हाँ हाँ
जी
व्हाट्सएप
सर
ग्रुप में।
कहीं भी दे दीजिए सर, हम लोग वहीं से ले लेंगे।
ठीक है ठीक है ठीक है, हम व्हाट्सएप ग्रुप में एक के बाद एक नोट्स जो है सब नोट्स दे देंगे व्हाट्सएप।
ओके सर,
जितने तक
थैंक यू।
आज के जितने तक हुआ है हम समझे, हम तक दे देंगे। थोड़ा काम के लिए हम नहीं दे पा रहे थे तो इसलिए हम शेयर कर देंगे जल्दी, हम आज या कल के अंदर शेयर कर देंगे तुम लोगों को।
ओके सर।
ओके देन, थैंक यू एवरीवन, I am ending the session.
थैंक यू सर।
Thank you, sir.